Hey, how's it going guys? Jack and Matt here with the Toasty Bros, and today we're going to be testing the cheapest graphics card we have tested on this channel so far, and this is the R5 240, and it is $12 or less.
You can get these for $12 or less on eBay easily all day, but should you actually buy it? Well, we're going to do some benchmarks to see if it can actually game in 2022, but first, a word from today's sponsor.
Today's video is brought to you by NZXT Build and their awesome gaming PCs. NZXT makes it easy to find the right gaming PC for your needs by showing FPS numbers based on your budget, and also comes with a 2-year warranty to give you that peace of mind for your investment. They also have pre-built systems that you can buy and have them shipped to your door very quickly, and they're also launching systems with the Ryzen 7 5800X 3D, AMD's fastest gaming CPU that we love here at the Toasty Bros. Check the link down below to learn more, and special thanks again to NZXT Build for sponsoring today's video.
So this card that we have is actually a Dell OEM R5 240. It's just a 1 gig card, so you really don't have much VRAM, but remember, it is $12 or less, so you're really getting what you pay for, and on top of that, I think the card is really worth more than $12 by a little bit, because you can play quite a few games at 720p and even some at 1080p. It's actually one of our personal favorites over at PC Bros. We actually throw these low profile Dell OEM ones into Dell Optiplexes and similar systems with i5s and i7s, and they actually make really good Roblox, Fortnite, Valorant machines.
So what we're going to be doing is throwing that GPU into our test bench here, featuring a Ryzen 5 5600G, 16 gigs of RAM, and a bunch of other cool components making up our awesome test bench. If you want to buy any of the parts from the test bench, link down below. But we're going to be running through a couple of games. We're gonna play some esports titles and stuff, but before we do that, I wanna go over some of the technical specifications of the R5 240 so you can compare it to other GPUs out there. So this graphics card actually launched on November 1st of 2013. It is a PCIe 3 card 8X, and it has a 50-watt TDP. The outputs are DVI and DisplayPort, and has a 775 MHz base clock with an 825 MHz boost clock and a 1000 MHz memory clock with a whopping 384 shader units and 6 compute units. This card is actually a direct rebrand of the HD 8570. So if you know about that card, this is back when AMD started the R series of cards and brought some of the 8000 and 7000 series over to that lineup and just completely rebranded them. Really didn't change much at all about them. So this is one of those cards, and it was pretty popular in that generation. And again, it comes in at $12, but can it actually game? Well, let's just do some benchmarks and find out.
Alright guys, now that we have this R5 240 on the test bench, let's dive into some benchmarks real quick. Now the games we decided to test this graphics card in are as follows. We went with Fortnite, Apex Legends, Minecraft, CSGO, and Valorant, because again, let's just put this out there. This is a 1 gig card and it costs $12. You're not playing Warzone, you're not playing super high-end games. The games you're going to be playing on this thing are esports titles, and that's what you would hope for if you're spending $12 on a CPU. Maybe slap this in an old office PC you pick up for $50 and you have a sub $100 PC, you kind of wanted just to do some light gaming here. So first up in Fortnite, using performance mode, which is an absolute savior for this graphics card, 80% render scale, we get close to 60 FPS actually, few divs below 60 here and there, but it is a playable experience. I wouldn't go professional with this setup, but if you're just trying to get your kid or somebody who wants to have their very first PC into Fortnite and maybe upgrade an Optiplex with this thing, you're going to get some pretty decent results. Now yes, it does depend on the CPU you're going with as well. I do think some of these newer Optiplexes with these 4th Gen i7s would probably make a lot more sense if you're going to play games like Fortnite, because Fortnite is a very CPU dependent game and the GPU is being maxed out 100%, but I do think the CPU is carrying us a little bit here as well when you're running lower settings. But if you want to get a well over 60 FPS experience with very slight dips, if you drop that render scale down to 65%, you're going to get a much better gaming experience. You're not going to drop below 60 very often, and you're going to get a better overall gaming experience in Fortnite. So yeah, it doesn't look the best, but when we're talking about a $12 graphics card here, it's going to get you what you want in terms of performance. Now let's step up to some slightly higher end esports titles, and we're talking about Apex Legends. This is a game where I expected to have a lot of issues. We went straight to 720p here. We were not running 1080p like we did in Fortnite, and yeah, on all those settings we got about 30ish FPS. I went to shooting range, so don't come at me. I know shooting range is much easier to run than the actual game, but I knew the FPS was going to be that bad. I really didn't want to put that on some teammates who are getting really mad because I just disconnect because the game just doesn't run well at all. So shooting range, just to show you that 30 FPS is probably the ceiling for this system on Apex Legends, but realistically you're going to be playing well below 30 if you're playing the main game or even arenas mode. So I would deem Apex Legends not playable on this graphics card, and having 1 gig of VRAM on a game like Apex Legends, horrible idea. Now, of course, we have to test a game that just makes perfect sense for a card like this, and that is Minecraft. And on pretty much high settings, we got 60 plus FPS. Now, yes, this is another game where you want to still have a decent CPU if you're going to grab this R5 240. You want something at least like a second or third gen i5 because Minecraft is very CPU dependent. If you're going with a cheaper CPU, you're probably going to still lower the settings because you're not going to get the 60 FPS experience. Maybe lower that render distance a bit, but it's still really cool to see as a temporary solution, or for a really affordable under $100 PC, you can, well, put together this system with that R5 240 and you'll get 60 FPS in Minecraft. Now, yes, a lot of people are like, well, why don't you spend a bit more on something like an Xbox Series S? Yes, of course, the Series S is out there, and I highly recommend the Series S if you can actually afford it, but if you're willing to spend less than $100 on a computer, I mean, an R5 240 is a pretty decent option right now. Now, we decided to try some other esports titles, some older esports titles, and that was CSGO. Medium settings 1080p, and we got 30 FPS? This one kind of confused me a little bit. CSGO is a pretty easy game to run. I don't know if they just updated the engine recently, and because this GPU is at end of life and doesn't get any driver support, that we're just having a 30 FPS experience. Not really sure why that happened, but I wouldn't play CSGO at 30 FPS. I'd probably drop down to 720p if you want to get a 60 FPS experience, but yeah, CSGO I wouldn't really deem playable on this card. Maybe it uses more VRAM than I thought. Whatever it is, I wanted to test another game that's similar to CSGO, Valorant, but is known to run better on older hardware or just lower end hardware, and at low settings 1080p we got 60 plus FPS. In conclusion, this card is what it is. It's $12, sometimes under $10, and it has 1 gig of VRAM, but it can still play some games. Yes, your CPU is probably going to be carrying you, so you still want to get a system like an Optiplex with an i5 or i7. You can pick those up for about $100, $150, give or take, and at that point, you might still have a solid system. They could slap in a $12 graphics card and have a good experience playing Fortnite, Minecraft, and some other basic games and older titles, but it's a $12 graphics card. We're just very interested to see how far we could push this $12 graphics card, and I think it did a pretty good job considering the price. The FPS for the dollar is actually kind of there. So if you want to pick up this graphics card for any build or whatever, check the link in the description down below. We'll be filling links and it will help us out, and let us know if there's any other really cheap GPUs you want us to take a look at here on the channel. Now we've finished the benchmarking section in today's video. How to bring Jackson back in here to wrap this video up real quick. Looking for the ultimate solution for your PDF documents? Then look no further than SwiftDo PDF, a program that lets you edit, convert, compress, merge, and e-sign PDFs all in one app, boosting your efficiency and productivity. Check the link down below to learn more and download SwiftDo PDF today.
So in conclusion, there's probably no major wow factors there. I'm sure some of you were surprised at how well it actually did in esports titles, but even in a couple of AAA titles like Apex, some of the lower end games that don't require much VRAM, you can play at 720p, all low settings, and expect, 20 to 30 FPS, which I think for the price of this card and given how old it is absolutely amazing. But obviously, don't spend $12 thinking, oh my gosh, it's not that great, because for 12 bucks, it's better than some integrated graphics on, certain Ryzen APUs and certain Intel CPUs. It also has 2 display outs for multiple monitors.
So if you want to pick up this graphics card for your next ultra cheap PC, check the link down below. It will be an affiliate link and it will help us out. Let us know what other really cheap GPUs you want to see us test here on the channel, and we could also test some higher end ones as well, but let us know in the comment section down below.
So as always, we hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, check out our other 2 YouTube channels and also our twitch.tv/ToastyBros, and do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
And we'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.
And if you don't want to have to worry about hunting for one of these graphics cards, hoping it's compatible with your system, worrying about the low profile versus full size, check out our PC selling business, PCBros.tech, where we have gaming computers starting as low as $150.
And if you want a 3090 PC, we got that. Oh my goodness, I don't know what I'm saying. We don't redo these. 3090 PCs also. They're great. Buy those. PCBros.tech, use code ToastyBros2 and check out the save 2%. See you guys later. Goodbye.
Peace out.
We're keeping it like that.
We're on Jawa now.